My name is Momo, and today I have a very special guest. This young man seated next to me, I'm calling him young, but we're almost the same age. But this young man was a doctor, qualified doctor, but left that and now is going around the globe building schools with Bitcoin.
Back then when I was younger, I wanted to become a physician, a doctor, a life in the medical field. And I chose in early 2014 to work in the nonprofit world, the nonprofit sector. In 2009, I first came to the continent of Africa in the country of Rwanda. And I tell this to many folks that I speak to, that Afghanistan, which is my mother country, gave me life, but Africa as a continent is what gave my life purpose. And so with that being said, I wanted to understand the intricacies of the NGO sector and understand what worked and what didn't work. And I want to kind of disrupt this traditional, industry, so to speak. And what better way to disrupt it than with Bitcoin?
Yeah. I know before you got into Bitcoin, there was another NGO that you were running. Tell us a little about that, and then now how you got into the Bitcoin space.
So I started working with a nonprofit in 2009, but then in 2014 is when I started my own NGO called Zamzam Water. Yeah. And our mission was to build water well projects around the world. And naturally, I built the very first water project in the country of Uganda. And so I wanted to kind of affect specifically the regions of Africa and Asia. Yeah. And from there, in the year 2017, about 3 years into it, I was building or raising funds for a very significant water project. And an individual contributed towards this project. It was a very large amount. And it was so large that it was flagged. It was flagged as possible fraudulent activity because of where the transaction actually came from. One of the issues that fiat has to this day. Yeah. And so I had to email this individual. You can imagine how uncomfortable this conversation was. I said, thank you so much for your anticipated contribution. Is there another form of payment that you can make? And they responded to me very simply, do you accept Bitcoin? And this is the spring of 2017. I had absolutely zero idea what Bitcoin was. So as anyone else would do, I went onto Google and I typed in, what is Bitcoin? Literally. And so many things came up, and you can imagine some positive, many negative. But it was because I had this individual on the other side of this email to have this peer-to-peer kind of conversation, and I was orange pilled over email. And that exact screenshot of that email I have framed in my office to remind me of when the very first time I was ever introduced to Bitcoin truly was.
When you started from. So this is quite interesting for me, because this is someone who wants to send you money and they have the funds to send you money, but because we live in a system of banking, they can't be able to send you the amount of money they want to send you, and it's for a good purpose. That now Bitcoin comes to fix that. Like we like saying Bitcoin fixes that. And tell us a little about now, when you actually got that first payment, how did it turn to now built with Bitcoin?
I mean, the first payment came as a contribution that was supposed to be in fiat, but it turned into Bitcoin because of that specific problem. So what I didn't know on the other side of that email, when I soon was able to find out, it was Ray Yusuf, who was on the other end, the CEO and founder of Paxful. And he told me that he had this crazy idea that he wanted to build 100 schools around the world completely using Bitcoin, and if I could help him be able to accomplish this goal. And I said, absolutely, we're going to do our very best. And so from June of 2017 is when I received my very first Bitcoin transaction and donation. And so I was continuously learning. And at that time, Bitcoin's volatility, high or low, whatever it may be, I was learning about the technology. I was learning that this is real money and that you can build with this. So I took this Bitcoin and I said, hey, we're going to build our first school with this. And we built our first school in the country of Rwanda. And since then, we've built schools in Rwanda, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and El Salvador. And we've done projects all around the world on 4 different continents of North America, South America, Asia, and Africa. And from that one specific orange pill session via email, we've been able to affect the lives in a positive way of over 125,000 people around the world.
Yeah. And just last weekend, that's when we actually met. Just last
Correct.
weekend, you took us somewhere in the middle of Machakos, and just to be able to see the impact of Bitcoin on the lives of people who would have never gotten that opportunity for
Right.
education. And tell us a little about this project that is in Kenya and what you've been able to achieve right here in our country.
First and foremost, our metric of success is not the number of buildings or schools that we build. It is about the relationships that we build. And so we have a mantra within our foundation that we don't just build schools, we build communities.
Yes.
And communities require communication.
Yes.
Communities require education. Communities require natural resources. And those are all facets that we like to kind of incorporate in our model.
Yeah.
So we've built a nursery and primary school there, a total of 6 classrooms, a teacher's lounge alongside a tech center. We have internet connectivity. We have electricity through solar.
Yeah.
We have a water project that not only provides access to clean water to the school and the students, but also to the community members as well in a very sustainable manner.
Yeah.
But above all else, beyond just the access to the natural resources, access to financial literacy. That's extremely important for us, Momo. It's like, for us, Bitcoin education comes second to the financial literacy, understanding what money is first and foremost, and then understanding what Bitcoin is, which is also hard money,
Yes.
hard currency.
Yeah.
And for us, it's all about accessibility. How can we be able to provide financial access and inclusion for communities around the world?
Yeah.
Bitcoin will get us there.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the major things that happened for me on Saturday was just being able to sit down with people who are in their 60s and their 70s, and some of them don't even know English or Swahili. And I had to make Bitcoin in Kamba, in my local language, and that took me quite far, because I think one of the revolutionary things that you're doing is bringing this knowledge that in Nairobi seems commonplace for us, but right there in the rural homes, it's something that they'll probably never ever get to hear until what you're doing is actually happening. So for me, I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And of course, the next time that you come, I'd love to come along.
Always.
I'd love to know a little about what Built with Bitcoin is planning on doing a little into the future.
So Momo is being a bit humble and modest, but he wasn't sitting down first and foremost. He was standing up, he rolled his sleeves up, and he got to work. So it was very gratifying and satisfying for me to be able to see Kenyans, be able to give back, volunteering on your Saturday from a busy life, from a busy lifestyle, and coming to a rural community that speaks your native tongue and your dialect. What better way to be able to spend your time? And it didn't cost anything beyond just time, and that's our most valuable asset. So point being is, what we try to provide is this level of education. For us to get to the adoption that we believe that Bitcoin can get to, we won't get there without building trust and through education. And for us, spending time, that is the most valuable asset that we have on this planet. And for us, spending quality time with the community members, it builds this sense of community with them as well. It builds this sense of trust. Those individuals know our names. I'm sure they're going to be talking about us after we left, and hoping, and we hope as well, to be able to visit them once again.
And now the next thing is, what's next for Built with Bitcoin?
For us, it's continuously spreading awareness of our projects, continuously spreading awareness of our mission and our purpose, and to ground ourselves at every waking moment, to understand that we are dealing with human lives. This is not an experiment. These are not lab rats, so to speak. These are human beings with feelings, with emotions, issues and problems and successes. And their children is our number one obligation that go to our schools. For us, again, our metric of success is not the level and number of infrastructure that we build. It is being able to connect, right? And I think one of my mentors, his name is Matt Odell. He's an OG Bitcoiner from the United States. At the most recent Bitcoin conference in Miami, he spoke on the open source stage and said that Bitcoin without people is just code, right? And that really struck a chord with me. It's like Bitcoin without people is just code. And he's absolutely right. We, the people, are what make Bitcoin special, right? We, the people, the community members, the villagers, those that are around the world is what makes Bitcoin truly powerful. And it's that peer-to-peer, right? That peer-to-peer relationship, that peer-to-peer energy that Bitcoin creates for folks around the world to be able to connect them with one another. And I think that is the most valuable intrinsic value that Bitcoin possesses.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I'm really grateful to have met you. I
Likewise,
know
thank you.
We'll probably do a lot more
Absolutely
as we continue. And as you're just speaking, I was thinking of the fact that under this video, in the description of this video, we'll put the link to Built with Bitcoin, where you can be able to donate in Bitcoin to the good cause that they are doing. Additionally, what I'm hoping to do is all the revenue that we'll earn from this video for the next 12 months will actually be sent as well to you, so that we can be able to build much more in this country and around the globe, because I feel the impact that Bitcoin has not this we have not even scratched the surface.
We're early.
We are so early in the process, and I know on the channel we'll talk a lot about how to make money with Bitcoin and how you can buy Bitcoin, but I felt this conversation is really important for you to be able to see that Bitcoin is more than just the price movement. Bitcoin is more than just making money with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is providing a livelihood, providing education, providing a sense of belonging for people who would never have had access to it. We can actually use Bitcoin to make people's lives better. And Yusuf, thank you very much for coming onto the channel.
Are you inspiring me? I'm over here getting goosebumps. My goodness, I'm so inspired and motivated. I'm humbled by your kind words. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm available anytime.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Not for what we are, but the opportunity to be